is one of our newer members. However, he's been with us for a while, and he has asked me to leave it to him to introduce the topic. So here we go. Rob Moore.
That round of applause reminds me of June 25th, 1995, the day of my high school graduation. Now, how many people besides me ever been to a high school graduation before? Come on, show me the whole armpit. Okay. Now, how many people besides me ever seen a high school before? Fantastic. Well, this is what happened. My name was called, and as I walked across the stage, I heard that same round of applause that you folks just gave me. And as I approached the principal, he handed me my diploma, I shook his hand, and then I went off the stage back to my seat where you folks are sitting right now to enjoy the rest of the ceremony and to watch the rest of my fellow classmates enjoy the ceremony and get their diplomas as well. But then it happened. I saw something going on the stage right here that I don't believe anybody else was paying any attention to. There were about 10 or so students that got to sit on the stage during the entire ceremony, Neil. While the rest of us, people like me, we had to sit in the audience where you folks were sitting. Now, at the time, I didn't understand why this was so. The only thing I did know is that these students, oh, they were all pretty smart. But as soon as the time came for them to get their diplomas after we got ours, and they called the first name of the first student that was over here, and mentioned their grade point average, which was in the low 90s. Oh, I knew exactly why. Oh, we had to sit down there, Jerry. I knew that. And I knew exactly why they got to sit up here, Jim. And I started to feel a little disappointed with what I accomplished in school up until that point. But you know what? It got a lot worse than that for me, but it actually got a lot better for them, because as they continued to call out names of the rest of the students on there, the grades got higher and higher, and I began to hear a 99.3, and then I heard a 99.7, and I thought to myself, Dave, how in the world could these grades be possible? But then I heard something that I thought was impossible. Because there was one young lady over here on the stage that was not called yet. And I knew her very well. I knew her personally. And one thing that I didn't know about her, she was involved in everything, Karen. Everything. I mean, the only thing that I think she wasn't involved in, Janice, was the fact that I don't think she played on the basketball team. But she ended up being the #1 student, the valedictorian. And you want to know what her grade point average was? You're not going to believe this, Neil. It was a 100%. A 100%! That means she got a 100 on every quiz, every test, every exam, every project, Ruth, in order to get that grade. And that these students up on this stage, oh, they had to work extremely hard in order to create those kinds of results. But you know what? Janice, while I was giving it 80%, these students, they were giving it 100%. Dave, while I was just trying to fit in with the crowd, these students were proud to be a part of a different crowd. While I was just trying to make it through high school, oh, these students right here, they were trying to make it into the next school, Jerry. And at this moment, this ceremony was no longer a celebration. It was a reality check for me, Jim. Because I knew that I could have done a whole lot better than I actually did. Now, I know everybody's thinking, why did I tell you this story? I told you this story, Ruth, because I came here this morning because I wanted to share one message with each and every one of you in this room. And that message is, show up, step out, and shine. But due to time constraints, I only have time to share with you the first part. And that part is show up. And what does show up mean? Show up means do the best you can do in everything you do. It means give it everything you have on a daily basis. It means bring your best self in every task at hand, Neil. Now, let's go back to the story that I just told you. You got these students here, and then you got me. There's only one difference between them and me. And that difference is this. Me, I showed up to school every day, physically. But you know what, Jerry? That was it. Those students over there, oh, they showed up. Not just physically, but intellectually, spiritually, emotionally. They gave it everything they had. Now, what you know about me, Jerry, is that I didn't give it 100% during all of my years in school. Matter of fact, I didn't give it 100% during any of my years in school. But Dave, what you don't know about me is that when I graduated, I didn't have a plan for what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be, or where I wanted to go. And that's what happens when you don't show up, Janice. That's what happens. So why not instead show up? This is Rob Moore reminding you to show up, step out, and shine, because whatever it is that you want to do, Jim, if it is to happen for you, Ruth, it is up to only you, Karen. Are you with me on this? Say yes.
Yes.
Now put your hands together and give yourself a round of applause for being a fantastic audience.